Hello and welcome to today's video. In today's video I'm going to take you through the basics of using the offset formula. So the offset formula uses a cell reference as a starting point and allows you to navigate away from that starting point to a given point down and a given point across. So as an example, if I wanted to get to the month of May, I'm going to do equals offset. I'm going to use the word month as my starting reference. So I now need to provide it with a row to go to and a column to go to. Now, unlike a lot of formulas where that first point would be 1, for offset that is point 0. So to get to May, that would be 1, that would be 2, that would be 3, that would be 4, and that would be 5. So if I put in that I want to go to row 5, I then need to provide it with a column to go to. And again, just like this point was 0, this is now column 0 as well. So that would be column 1, that would be 2, that would be 3, and that would be 4. So if I put a 0 in, you'll see it returns me the value in the 5th box down and this 0 column. If I go and update that to column 1, I now get the figure for the East in May. Okay, so that on its own is very static and I've got to go and make a lot of changes. What I could do is I could use a match formula inside of this to use that coordinate again, but then determine where to go based on the value that's in C2. So to do that, I would do equals offset. I would start again with the same reference of B4, but now to provide the row number, I would add the match formula in. So I'd tell it to look for the value that I've got in C2, and I would tell it to look for that. Its lookup array would actually start where January is. So then that would denote January as 1, February as 2, March as 3, and so on. I'm going to get it to give me an answer only if it finds an exact match. So now that I've put that in, that's going to provide me with my row coordinate. And again, like before, if I put 0 in for the column, that will return me the name of the month. So if I go and update that now to 1, that returns me that same figure as the original offset. The advantage now is, as I go and change the months, so if I go for December, I now get the figure to the right of December. So the match formula is now telling it to go to row 12 from that 0 start point. Okay, I'll put it back to May. Now, I'm on the latest version of Office 365. The version that I have got has got the XLOOKUP and the XMatch formula in, and Microsoft have made some changes to the way that Excel operates. So where before I would have needed an array formula to do this next bit, I can actually use offset to generate me a collection of numbers. So if I do the original offset again, and again I'll just do it by doing B4, giving it a row of 5 and a column of 1, I would now be in this cell. But what I can add in now is these optional fields. I can tell it how high that needs to be. So is that 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows and 4 rows, or how wide it can be as well. So is that 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns, 4 columns. So if I say I just want the 1 row in height, but I want 4 cells in width, when I close my bracket, because this is going to give me more data than can fit in the cell, in my version of Excel, it actually spits out the information into the adjacent cells. So if you're not on the most up-to-date version of Excel and you were trying to follow along with this, you may well get an error message. So the way around that is you would probably want to do something with these numbers. So what I want to do is I want to add up those 4 figures. So to do that, I can encapsulate that offset inside of a traditional sum. So if I put that in there and I close my bracket, you'll see instead of it giving me the numbers outside as it does now, it actually adds all those numbers together. So it's now totaling together those 4 figures. Now I've put positive figures in to this one. You can also put negative figures to use the point that you were at as a starting point and it moved backwards. So quite useful in a report if you wanted to, say, have an average of the last 3 months of sales, where each time you update what the current month is, it will use that as the start point and it will average back from that point. Okay, so as a closing thing now, to combine the match formula I did here with the offset and sum that I've got in here, I would do equals sum open bracket. I would then do my offset formula. I would do my reference as B4 again. I would do my row as by doing the match formula, finding the value that is currently in C2, starting in B5 through to B16 as its array, only returning me if it's an exact match. So remember, that's going to provide me my row number. I'm now going to hard code the column to 1. I'm now going to say that I only want 1 row of data by putting 1 in as the height, but going across I want 4 cells worth of information. So when I close my bracket now, that closes my offset, and if I close another bracket, that will close my sum. So if I now press enter, I now get the same figure as I've got above. And again, just like the advantage of that second formula over the first one, by combining into it the match formula, I can now go and change to a different month, and I now see the total for the 4 regions. So that is the basics of the offset formula, guys. It's probably one of the most useful formulas you will ever learn in Microsoft Excel, along with the lookup formulas that you've probably learned in the past. If you like the video, guys, can you give me a thumbs up? And if you want to see more of my videos, please remember to subscribe and press the notification bell, because I plan to do 2 videos a week on various Microsoft topics. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.